So today it's a super convenient one-pot meal. You know, I used to love chicken and rice, but I don't eat it anymore. But this is even better. My Cajun no chicken and millet dish is full of health-promoting ingredients and is seasoned just right. You'll love this. And today, I'm going to show you how to make your own. All right, so of course the first thing we're going to do is go over the ingredients we're going to use to make this dish. Now, this dish is based on a traditional dish of chicken and rice, and I'm sure you've probably had that before. But we're going to make it healthier. And what we're going to do to replace the chicken is use lion's mane mushrooms. Now, if you don't know your facts about that, check out my info video. I posted here telling a lot of good information about the benefits of lion's mane. I also have videos in my app talking about that too. The lion's mane are particularly excellent health promoting mushrooms. So we're going to use that to replace the chicken. To replace what would be white rice, we're going to use millet. Millet is a much healthier grain than white rice. And it's one of the two grains that I use the most, millet and quinoa. So that to replace the chicken and this to replace the rice. Now, we're going to use some vegetable broth to add some flavor. This is a homemade vegetable broth that I use. I haven't posted a recipe here, but it is in my new book. So my new book, Make Your Own, you probably know by now it's available for pre-order. In that book, I do have a recipe for this broth. But in the meantime, you could use a store-bought broth. If you're wondering what kind to use, in general, I use organic, salt-free, with no kind of additives whatsoever. In my Healthy Vegan app, I have a lot of videos talking about the brands that I prefer. And one of the things I talk about is vegetable broth. And I give you my 3 favorite options for a nice, clean vegetable broth. So you can check that out. Or if you have one you like, you can use that. And when you get the book, you can have this recipe. We're going to use some chopped onion, some chopped red pepper, some chopped green onions, some cashew butter. For my nut-free followers out there who want to make this recipe, you can simply use tahini to replace the cashew butter and make this completely nut-free. We're going to use some coconut aminos. We're going to use some Cajun spices. Now, this is a blend that I made myself. I don't have that recipe posted. You can use your favorite Cajun spice or put one together yourself if you like to. I will be posting this, I think, here in the future. But for now, you can just use your favorite brand. And then last but not least, we're going to be adding some fresh garlic, another super health promoting food. These are the beautiful, and I say beautiful because they're so health promoting and so tasty. These are the beautiful ingredients we're using to make this beautiful dish. Let's start putting it together. All right, so now the first thing I'm going to do is get my lion's mane prepared. Now I've already cut the core off the back here. So now it's just a matter of breaking this into pieces. And once I do that, I'm going to set it aside and then we'll get started on our millet.
If you can't find lion's mane, you can also use oyster mushrooms or jackfruit for this recipe.
All right, so now I've got my mushrooms set aside. The next thing we're going to do is dry roast our millet, and that'll give this dish a nice nutty flavor.
Now, I also find that roasting the millet creates a nicer texture and keeps the millet from getting too mushy.
Okay, so now I've got my millet roasted. Now I'm going to turn my attention back to my lion's mane mushroom, and we're going to get these into our pan, and I'm going to press them and cook them until they're ready.
Now, if you don't have a press like you see me using here, you could use another heavy pan to press the mushrooms. If you're enjoying this video, please like and subscribe below.
All right, so now I've got my mushrooms cooked to the point that I want them. I've pressed them really well. The water has pretty much evaporated. Now I'm just going to season them and then set them aside. So lately I've received several emails and DMs asking for my opinion on supplements, and in particular creatine. Now, I first heard great things on creatine several years ago, but I was skeptical and thought it was just the latest fad for hardcore weightlifters. But once I started diving into the science behind it, I realized that creatine is actually a supplement for overall health, not just physical performance. Although it's great for building muscle, what drew me to it is that it supports the entire body and mind. Creatine has been shown to help with energy production, recovery after workouts, and even mental clarity. And there are additional benefits like improved bone health and support for cognitive and reproductive health that makes creatine a smart investment in my future health, not just a short-term performance booster. Now, if you read about creatine, you'll find that one of the main concerns, like many supplements, is product purity. Many supplement companies sell products that include sketchy fillers and vague labels. However, Complement Creatine has just one ingredient, micronized creatine monohydrate, sourced from Germany, which is some of the best in the world. Every batch is third-party tested for purity, and they actually publish their results right on their website. And this kind of transparency is rare in the supplement world. Complement creatine dissolves quickly and completely in water or smoothies with no weird texture or taste, and it's also vegan and cruelty-free. And you can check out this product by tapping in the descriptions below. Now let's get back to this recipe.
Now that the mushrooms are mostly cooked, I'm seasoning them by adding coconut aminos and the spices. Now you can also add small amounts of broth to help the spices coat the mushrooms. Then you want to cook them just until there's no more liquid left at the bottom of the pan.
Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little broth to my pan. Then I'm going to saute my onions and my other ingredients. Then we'll add back the millet, add back the mushrooms, and complete this dish.
So as I said, I'm starting by adding a little vegetable broth to the pan along with my onions and garlic. I'm going to saute those just until the onions start to soften. Then I'm adding my coconut aminos, some more vegetable broth, nut butter, and spices, and getting these mixed up. Then it's time to add the red pepper and the remaining vegetable broth and the millet. And then the last thing I'm going to do is simply cover my pan to let it simmer and then finish cooking.
All right, so now our millet is just about done cooking. Now I'm just going to fluff it a little bit and then add our mushrooms.
Okay, so now we're at the very final step here. Now once I've fluffed the millet and added the lion's mane, I'm going to garnish it with some chopped green onions. Now if you're serving this to multiple people, you could simply just set the pot on the table and let people serve themselves.
All right, so I have served myself, and now I will indulge for you, of course. What a great combo. The mushrooms, the millet, the flavors mixing, not too hot. I'm calling it Cajun style, but not too hot at all. This is delicious. A great one-pot meal to make. Gotta make your own. So if you're new to my channel and you're wondering how to see the recipe, look below the video and tap on the word more and you'll see the beginning of the recipe. Tap on the word more a second time and you'll see the full recipe, and then you can begin to make your own. Thanks for watching.